Okay everyone, this is my starting intro to Satisfactory 1.0. Now I streamed this originally on the 10th on the release day of Satisfactory, but had some issues downloading, some issues actually running the game, so I was a bit rushed in setting up this for the third time to actually start Satisfactory, and unfortunately I didn't record audio with it. So here you can see I'm going to start a new game. This time I'm going to start in the Dune Desert, which is not a biome that I've ever started in before, and I'm imaginatively calling this the version 1 new game, as you can see. And I'm choosing the Dune Desert because, apart from the fact I've never started in it, Coffee Stain Studios have added a whole bunch of new nodes. I know that this area is pretty resource rich. It's a pretty flat terrain, so lots of dunes. So what I want to do is be able to set the game up, start. In this session I'm just going to go through the tutorial, so the phase 0. And then actually from stage 1 or phase 1 onwards, again I'll be doing streaming, kind of showing how I'm going up here. So this starter piece is just the little cutscene which you get at the start of the game, which goes through what you're actually trying to do. But essentially Satisfactory is a game where you mine resources, so you gather resources from the planet to build stuff, to gather more resources, to build bigger and more complex things. And eventually what you're trying to do, the overall theme of this, is to ferry stuff back to Earth to kind of save the day. That's the kind of theme of Satisfactory, is that you are harvesting all of this stuff because Earth is in trouble, basically. So not too dissimilar from the present day, really, but just in the future. So you are a pioneer sent in this little drop pod through to a planet, an alien world, to gather all of these valuable resources that it's needing. So this little cutscene just kind of goes through and explains that, and it gives you a kind of an introduction to the game, gets you a little bit familiar with the kind of things like looking around and stuff. And the tutorial is pretty good at doing that, as well as introducing you to the basic concepts of the game and how it plays through. So as you can see, we're going through the atmosphere at the moment. Gone through the sort of heat shield phase, going through the atmosphere, and we're going to be landing shortly. And there we go, down on the planet. So the graphics in this game are pretty slick, I think. This is your little construction and deconstruction tool. And Ada, who's your personal digital assistant, keeps chipping in with these little things. So you can see the little messages at the bottom there. They also have audio there. The first thing you have to do is deconstruct your pod to basically get resources to build your base, called the hub. And there are hostile organisms on the planet, so here you can see we are equipped with a Xeno Zapper. It's a pretty basic defensive tool. It's not very good, and you do want to be able to upgrade that fairly soon, because there are a lot of hostiles, and any resource node is defended by hostiles. Anything valuable, basically. So I'm just looking around for somewhere to put the hub. See, I'm just coming up to this dune here. You can jump. You can't jump very high. You can see I've got a resource node there. And that is a hog. So that's one of the kind of aggressive defensive aliens. They'll charge at you, butt you. So you can see I'm kind of sizing up. So you want to try and get as close as possible to these things without them seeing you, so that they don't kind of get the first jump on you, and then just hit it as much as possible. A couple of whacks with the Xeno Zapper will take one of these out. You can grab their carapaces. You can't use them to start with, but you can use them later on. So you can see there I just mined the iron blocks on there. The kind of main deposit is below that. You have to clear those pieces out first. And here you can see I'm going to build the hub just over this ridge. Now, the initial placement of this doesn't matter too much because I will be deconstructing this and reconstructing it later on when we get to phase 1. But to start with, this will do. So it's pretty basic to start with. You just get a platform, you get the hub terminal, and you get this crafting bench. So the crafting bench is kind of a fundamental piece of Satisfactory. This is where you can construct things by hand, and you can build these later on in the field, so you don't have to come back all the way to the hub each time. You can see I've got all my items in the inventory there. You can see I'm converting ore through to iron ingots there, and I've got iron ingots. I can make some iron plates, I can make some iron rods. See, there's the crafting bench that I can make out in the field. You can see it doesn't require very much, but I still don't have enough to actually make it. So one of the first things you need to do is go through to the hub. Here we've got tier 0, and we need to set this as a milestone. So you can see I've got the equipment workshop, portable miner, and it gives me an extra equipment slot when I finish this milestone. So selecting that milestone, you can see I need to complete 10 iron rods to be able to hit that. So I need to go and do some mining. So at the beginning of the game, there's a lot of this manual stuff because you've got to research the stuff to be able to get the automation technologies. And none of this requires any power because, of course, we don't have any power generation at the moment. So the very start of the game, it's pretty slow because you are manually gathering these resources. And then you're going back to the hub. You're turning those ores into ingots, and then those ingots into the basic building materials that you're going to need. So all of this to start with has to be done manually. So it's a little bit of a grind, but it gets you used to all of the controls. So it gets you used to your XYZ looking around, your movement, jumping, how to use the Xeno Zapper to defend yourself against some of the aliens around. All of those kind of very fundamental things that will become second nature after a little while. So you can see I upgraded, finished the first part there. I got some storage, so now I can throw stuff in there. I don't have to carry it around. And I also got access to the equipment workshop. So I'm going to just put that next to the hub. Again, placement at the moment isn't particularly important as long as you get access to it, because all of this will be moved. So here you can see now I can make the portable miner. So this is kind of a step up. And you can see I don't have enough at the moment. I need some iron plates to be able to make the portable miner. But the portable miner is sort of a semi-automated, so it'll gather up to 100 ore from a resource node at a time. But you then have to go and pick it up from there, empty it, take it back, process it. So now you can see I've got more ore. Come back to the craft bench. I can make iron ingots. When I've got enough iron ingots, I can make iron plates. And now I've got those iron plates, I can go and make my miner. So I'll make a couple of these to start with. So they go in the inventory. Just checking, because sometimes if you get a little bit too close to nodes and things, those aliens can creep up on you. So you can see it's got a white background. Anything with a white background you can put in other parts of your inventory. So in this case, your hand inventory. And then you have to equip it in your hand. And then you put the portable miner on this resource node. You see it's doing its thing, setting itself up. And then it will chug away and automatically get that iron ore. So if we go up to it now and open it, you can see we've got some iron ore there. It's a little bit faster than you are manually mining. So this is the kind of very first step in our automation. So this is sort of semi-automation. So we can now go to the second step on this, put it as our... And we actually haven't done that. So I'm just making some more iron ingots here from all of that ore that we've just picked up. Making some more iron plates from those. Some more iron rods. We can get more ore. And this is the kind of repeat process that you have to go through at the beginning. Again, this is really a tutorial step, is to get you used to all of these pieces. So there's a lot of the same that you'll see in the next hour or so. So now we can actually select this as a milestone. So until you select it as a milestone, it doesn't become active. Now I can immediately fill those and upgrade. So now you can see I've got a roof over my head. The hub is looking a little bit more homely. And I can go to the next tier where you can see we've got quite a few more pieces. So access to limestone to make concrete. I got to get wire and various other pieces. So you can see now we've got access to a smelter. And we've also got access to power lines. Now a smelter, we need wire and iron rods. Now we don't have any copper at the moment, so now we can scan and choose copper ore, and it will show us where the nearest copper deposits are. So you can see the nearest one here is about 160 meters away. So let's go for a quick run. You can see another hog at this resource node. We'll give it a quick zap. It just punched us there, but we managed to get it. So you can look in the left hand bottom corner, that is our health bar. You can see that took one of our 10 health pieces off there. There are ways to restore that. It does restore over time as well. You can see I just threw down a portable miner there. That'll chug away and get us some copper ore. I can come back. You can see this is some of the copper ore we got from that big deposit that was on the node. So we can make that into copper ingots. You see now we're getting the option to make wire as well. So let's make some wire. Right, so now if I look at the smelter, I can make a smelter. So let's pop the smelter on top of this ridge here. And I'm going to go across here as well, turn this one around. And pop that on this ridge like so. Now, power lines, I need to connect those up to power to be able to actually run them. And you can see I don't have any fuel. If I go to the power line, you can see I actually need cable for the power line, not wire. You can see the problem here is I can't jump very high. I can't actually get access to that side of the hub. Again, we'll fix all of that in a little while. So we can start to fill in some of our resource requirements for hub upgrade 3. You can see we need quite a lot more iron plates and iron rods there, so we need more iron. You can see our little portable miner has stopped because it's filled itself with 100 ore. So now we can go back after taking that. So the other thing we need to do is make some cable. We've got plenty of wire here, so I'm going to go ahead and make some cable here. And then we're going to make some more iron plates and rods to fulfill our requirements for the hub upgrade. So you can see, to start with, it's not too bad in terms of being able to fulfill the requirements for the hub upgrades. You can click through these pretty quickly if you've got nearby resource nodes, which is one of the reasons I started in the Dune Desert, because there are a lot of resource nodes. So now you can see we have access to power poles, which basically extend the range of us being able to put things down, and also a constructor, so we can actually automate the production of basic materials. And I'm not actually going to do that now until we've fully upgraded our hub, because I want to be able to put a nice flat foundation down, and you don't get access to that until the end of this. So I don't want to start building a whole lot of infrastructure before I've got a nice foundation level base, because going up and down these dunes is a bit of a pain. But now we have some wire, you can see we can actually connect the power line, but we don't have any concrete to be able to put a power pole down. So let's have a look and find some limestone so we can actually make some concrete. Let's have a look. There's our nearest node, which is about a quarter of a kilometre away. So off we go on another merry jaunt. Just checking around to make sure there are no hostiles. Let's scan again. Actually, I have a whole bunch of limestone nodes around here, and there it is. And there's our hog. Managed to jump over it from its attack. There it is. Oh, it got me. Oh, got me again. So they take about a health off each time, so you do need to crack and get these quite quickly. There we go. Right, let's get some limestone. There we go. So that's an impure limestone node. So the purity of the nodes determines how much you can get out of them, or like the rate of resources that you can get out of them. So a pure node, you can get a lot of resources out quite quickly. Now there's a plasma spitter up there, which is a nasty little enemy. It spits, well, putting plasma at you, so we don't really want to deal with that. We might as well just quickly mine that node, get rid of the nodule on it before we run away. At this stage of the game, running away is definitely a viable option. Let's go and just grab these. These are beryl nuts. You can eat those to actually Restore your health. Ow. There we go, we got him. Ah, this is the summer sloop. So this is kind of an alien artifact. You won't use these until late game, but it's worth collecting them whenever you see them. You'll see these, and you'll also see Mercer spheres. So the bottom line, really, for Satisfactory is you collect absolutely everything that you can. It doesn't matter whether you know what it is or not, collect it, because you'll use it at some point. So you see, now I can make concrete from that limestone. So there's no intermediate stage with limestone. Limestone is just limestone, you just make it straight into concrete. And now I have a bunch of concrete. So now we can see we can get a power line, but we still need some bits. So off we go to collect more. Our little miner here is full. Let's empty it out. We'll convert all of this copper into wire. So generally it's not a good idea to run power lines directly to things. You really want to be able to put them on power poles, because then it's much easier to manage your power distribution when you do that. So there we go, put a power line down and I can come from there. Each power pole, level 1 power pole, can support 4 connections. Now you see, if I try and get another power line from there, it's already got a connection, so you can't actually connect anything more to this biomass burner here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and then come from the biomass burner straight to a power pole, and that gives me a lot more flexibility. So now I can go and connect that up to the other power line. So you see I'm doing the same thing now, but now I can come and put a power line here. So managing your electrical distribution grid is another big part of Satisfactory, another thing you really need to kind of be mindful of. We can connect that up. Right, let's go and collect some more iron ore. And now we can come up and configure this smelter. So now we want this to make iron ingots. We're going to dump a whole bunch of iron ore in there, but of course it's not going to do anything because we've got no power. Now, although we've connected it up to a biomass burner, we go back to the biomass burner and through. So now we can go and configure the other smelter. I'm going to configure that to make copper. I'm going to dump copper ore in it. Pick up a bunch more copper ore from here. Dump that in my smelter as well. Okay, that's full. So now I actually need to collect biomass. So we've got a biomass burner, but we don't have anything in the biomass burner, so it's not generating any electricity. So let's go off and see if we can find some bits to burn. Ah, now that is a power slug. And there are 2 plasma splitters there, so we're going to ignore that. Power slugs allow you to basically overclock your systems. There's a couple of plasma splitters there as well. It looks like we've got another power slug up there. So it's good to know that these things are here, but this is all pretty dangerous. Let's see if we can thread the needle between all of these enemies and see if we can actually pick up a power slug. Now we can't jump very far, so it's going to be a matter of coming up here. Now, whenever you see that unauthorized hostility against Fix-It personnel, that means something's attacking you that you can't see necessarily. That plasma spitter was spitting at us, so we're going to run away. It's a bit too dangerous for us at the moment. Oh, it seems to be coming after us. Let's run. Running around at night on an alien planet is probably not the safest thing to do. I wouldn't particularly recommend it. But it does look like there's some greenery over there where those waterfalls are. Oh, we've got some Caterium here. Again, Caterium is a later game item. Not too late, it comes in a little while. But again, just a little deposit. If you ever see those, just collect them. Again, you can't use it right now, but it's always good to have these things. Let's get this hog. Yeah, there we go. Take that. Gotcha. We are pretty much a menace on this planet. Poor creatures just going about their business, and we're coming along just murdering everything. But just pick up that copper. So that frees up that node so we can come and use that later. Now, at the moment we don't have a way of cutting down trees. We need to chainsaw to do that, so we're just going to have to be gathering leaves, which is the poorest fuel that you can get. You might find some loose wood around as well. But you can see at the moment I'm just collecting all of these plants. So we're just going to go ahead. Oh, this is a paleberry. Again, another alien fruit that you can eat and restore some health. With some research later, you can combine these into other things as well. We'll come across that one when we get to it. At the moment, we're just going to collect as much vegetation as we possibly can. See, I've got a whole bunch of leaves there, but I've still got some room left. Fortunately, your Pioneer doesn't need any sleep or anything, so you can go all the way through the night. Strip mining the planet, gathering all its resources, stripping its biome. I'm not sure there's a strong ecological message in this game. Some of the visuals, though, are really nice. It's very atmospheric. You know, we're coming into dawn here. Got some nice reflections on the water. Shallow water you can wade through. If it gets a bit deeper, you can swim. And you see that creature there is completely harmless. I think it's called a curious creature. And here we found some sulfur. So again, we're going to take this, even though we can't use it at the moment. Right, now we're full. Inventory is packed. Collect some copper on the way back. Right, now we can start our biomass generator. If I can actually select it, you can see, here we go, and we can throw a bunch of leaves in there. And you see now it's burning. You see it consumes them pretty quickly, so leaves are the worst fuel source in the game. But you can see now, as the smoke rises from our smelters, we actually have power, and we are powering these things. And you can see we are automatically making iron, so we don't have to manually do it ourselves. So we're going to make another portable miner here, because we need to mine that limestone. We also need to select our milestone here. Let's just fill in some bits here. So we've got all the concrete we need. We need iron plates and cable. Let's go ahead and make some cable. And we need some iron plates. Go ahead and make those. Load these into the hub. We need more iron. So now we can just go back and pull out iron ingots. We can throw in some of this iron ore that we've still got. So the maximum capacity is 100 for these, so load those in. We're still a little bit short. So this kind of semi-automated stage, you still need to do quite a bit of running around. We're getting to the stage where we can automate a lot of this soon. Still just short. Okay, now we can upgrade. There we go. This upgrade now gives us the conveyor belts and poles. So we don't have anything else that we can make other than those. So let's go ahead and get our miner. So let's select this milestone, because this gives us the miner, the storage container, and it also expands our inventory slots. So this is quite a big one. You remember to actually set the milestone. We can go and throw in the resources we have here. You see, this requires quite a lot more, and you'll find that with each increasing milestone usually has a higher requirement, has more complex items that you need. So go ahead and grab those ingots. Let's go back, grab some more ore. So the next hub upgrade that gives us Mark 1 miners will allow us to automate the actual production and the So the next hub upgrade will allow us to create miners, which will actually automate the extraction of ore and delivery, because you can actually hook those up to conveyor belts to the smelters. So it's a big step in creating our factories as kind of the fundamental cornerstone of resource production. But for the moment, we're still stuck with running around, collecting the ore ourselves, dumping it into the smelters. Here you can throw in all that we got from there. Let's go back and change these ingots into actually something useful. Still can't quite jump there. Again, not too worried about all this because I'm going to repurpose all of this stuff once I've got access to foundations in Tier 1. Let's feed our biomass burner again. You can see this is really chewing through these leaves that we collected. Making a bunch more concrete here. That's enough for us to upgrade the hub once more. And then you can see our final phase here. We can add resources to that. So you can see I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff for the miner. Let's go and take some more iron ingots from this as we load it up with ore. We can make our iron plates. Now we need a bunch more concrete, so where is our... Here it is. Need to go and empty the miner. Might as well get some copper along the way. I'm trying to grab these plants, but it's just making me mine limestone. But we do want to mine limestone anyway, so let's have a go at that. Grab some more plants while we're here. Go and grab some more iron ore. Let's just grab that and then we'll pick it up. We'll take the iron, we'll throw the iron ore in there. Convert all of this limestone into concrete. You can see we've got thrown some wood in here. We've got a second biomass burner with our last hub upgrade, which I've put that wood in, which is just dead wood that I've collected. So let's throw the leaves in this one. You can't unfortunately have two different types of fuel. You can't kind of put some wood in and load up a load of leaves. So let's go ahead and add this to our power grid. This kind of gives you an idea as you're progressing now, rather than resource management, now power management starts to become a real issue in the early game. So you really want to try to progress to coal power as fast as you can, because biomass burners are a pain. Trying to automate them is a pain. I believe you can automate them in version 1. Previously you couldn't. You had to do it all manually, and it was a real chore using biomass burners. But I believe now it is possible to automate them, which will make them a bit more viable, which is a good thing. So now that we've got to have biomass, we need to grab it wherever we can find it. The chainsaw also helps a lot with biomass burners, because when you can cut down trees, that's quite a big thing. Let's get rid of this hog. Die, die, die. Ow. Die, ow. Come on. There we go. Let's get this node cleared. Right, this is an impure node as well. The other one was impure, so there's no point putting our miner on the further one. Let's go back to our closest one. It's quite easy to become disoriented in Satisfactory as well. We don't have access to the map yet. That'll come soon. Grab these plants. Here we go. This is our nearest limestone node. You may think, why am I not putting an automated miner on it? That's because I actually want to make a proper one, a miner Mark 1, rather than just throwing a semi-automated one here, seeing as that we have access to miners now. We just need to get the right ingredients. See, our biomass burner has already burnt through that wood. Let's give it some leaves. And make concrete. Right, let's make another miner. Now the moment we've been waiting for. Production, we can get the miner Mark 1, and now we have it there in blue. We've got enough. We're going to pop that down there, and then we're going to come across to the conveyor belts, and we're going to feed that straight into our smelter. Now of course we need power for the miner for it to be able to work, so we're going to go across and use our power pole here and route it straight to there. And let's go and have a look as this thing starts to gear up. See, it's starting to mine into the node now. If we can look at it, there we go. Much faster than either manual collection or making it with the semi-automated miner. Now, the conveyor Mark 1 is pretty slow, as you can see, but it's automatic. So this will just keep mining in that mode. This will keep mining in that node. It'll keep chugging. And we can see, that's the increase in power consumption. And managing this will become the next big challenge. Because whilst it's very tempting to just put miners on all your nodes, you won't have the power to be able to do that in the early game. So you're kind of limited by your power grid to start with. Right, let's go ahead and get this miner up. Thank you. So if you take the miner, it'll automatically take all of the resources with it as well. Now we'd like make a miner mark 1 here. Put that down. Let's get our belt. Feed that straight in. And then take power. And we don't have enough wire. Okay, well, let's just go straight to it. Won't bother putting another power pole down. We'll change that when we need to. Let's throw in some copper ore, get our copper ingots. Storage container, we're missing some components. As you can see now, this is now limited basically by how much iron ingots can be stored in the smelter itself. So you can kind of get where we're going with this, probably. So the next thing, we can, now we've got the organization, we can make storage containers. Is we can put our storage containers down. That won't work. And that's because it's too close. So sometimes with Satisfactory, the perspective from certain views isn't what you think it is. So I thought I'd place this more like that, but obviously from where I was, it looked like that, but it wasn't actually. So there we go, that's better. And now you can see those iron ingots automatically being fed into the storage container. So now I've expanded that from its one slot. You see now, look at all these slots here. So this has a huge capacity. Although, as you will see later in the game, it becomes very limiting. So it's always a matter of more. We can go ahead and do the same thing here. Well, we need more iron plates. And again, yes, I am doing all this manually at the moment because I don't want to make constructors to make all of these things until I've got my foundation or access to foundations and can make those. And I'll show you why, because otherwise I'll start, the amount of stuff that you have to deconstruct and reconstruct becomes a bit of a pain. So whilst this takes a little bit longer, maybe, it's not too bad. I've only got access to automation right now. So making construction pieces before that doesn't really work that well. We don't have access to conveyor splitters or anything. So at the moment, early game, for the tutorial part where you're just upgrading your hub, probably best not to make constructors until you get to this kind of point in the game. So let's put this, there we go, and then pop that in. So now all my copper ingots can flow into that. So now I've got access to a lot more of my base metals. Now what we need to do is go and do the same thing with limestone. So the reason I'm just throwing the hand miner down and then this crafting bench is so I don't have to go all the way back to the hub. And I appreciate it's not that far at the moment, but it's a bit of a pain walking all the way there. So we're just going to convert all of this copper into wire. And whilst we're doing that, there'll be plenty of time for that limestone miner to get us a nice limestone to make some concrete. Let's grab the limestone, and then we can immediately make that into concrete right on site here. So now we can pick that up. And now we can put down a Mark 1 miner. Looks about right. Pop a power pole down. Going to take it as far as we can away. So when the little hologram goes red, you can't put it. So it has to be blue. If it's yellow, it means it's intersecting another thing's space, effectively. Right, I'm going to pop another one down. We're going to get rid of this cable here that we did directly, and we're going to connect the two power poles. And then we can connect that one to the power pole. There we go, we're back on. And now we need more biomass because we've blown our fuse. Which means basically we've exceeded our power generation requirements. Which basically means we've exceeded the power generation capacity we have with our requirements because one of the biomass burners has run out of fuel. So I'm going to have to grab a whole bunch of plants again. Run all the way back to the hub. There we go. Restart. Make sure the other biomass burner is also full. There we go. Right, let's throw a bunch of stuff in here. You can see we've got over 200 iron ingots there. So hopefully you can see how you start to accelerate your production. And obviously this part is really all the tutorial. So this is getting you used to the controls, getting you used to the basic concepts of the game. And at this stage, you don't really want to plan too much because you can't really do too much until you finish the actual tutorial, till you get through all the phase 0 pieces. So you might find that you put the hub down in not a very good place. For instance, you may want to relocate it to closer to some resource nodes. This starting place actually I've got here is pretty good because you've got iron and copper right by you, and then you've got limestone not too far away. Some locations you have to go like over a kilometre to find some of these things. So having something which has all of those early basic resources very close by is super important early game if you're going to get a fast start, effectively. Right, so we've got most of our basic requirements. Now we need to go and get more concrete. So there's our miner. Now the good thing about when you start making energy production is you can usually, if you forget where stuff is, you can follow your wires, your power grid network to find out where you put stuff. It's actually pretty good in an open area like this. Let's take all of that. Because you can see for a long way. Other areas of the map where you've got a lot of vegetation, it's not the case. I need to convert that into concrete. So that's about as far as I can get the conveyor to start with. You can just join conveyors to each other to make a single contiguous belt. Okay, that's about as far as I can get. We need some more plates. Stop off and get some copper. Fill up with iron. Right, we needed iron plates, didn't we? So go plenty of plates and rods now, which is what I need. So plates, rods, and concrete to make conveyor belts. So you can see the belt snapped to where it was there. So that's pretty helpful, being able to snap to the nearest belt. Let's bring it up here. Now let's get a storage container, which of course I need more plates for. Oh dear, early game. So this is a common theme all the way through Satisfactory, is you've got to be able to plan your production so that you are overproducing basics so that you can get through all the stuff that you need. And people take a whole different approach to this. You know, it's as varied as there are people, you know. Some people end up with a huge spaghetti mess. Some people have it incredibly organised. It really is up to you. So it's a very open game, which is one of the things I really like about it. Okay, we can now connect. Oh, no, that's too steep. Let's get rid of that then. Being able to dismantle things at no cost is a great thing as well. It's not like you lose pieces if you build something in the wrong place and then have to dismantle it. You don't lose any of those resources. There we go. There's our our limestone coming on its way. We've blown a fuse again, so we need more biomass. Let's throw this wood in here. Okay, we've still got some leaves in that one. Still need more concrete. But at least now we only have to go up to our storage container to get it. There we go. Gonna be very lazy and just make it right here. Because I don't want to keep running backwards and forwards, so I can make enough. Come on, access. There we go. Can I jump in? Oh, nope. And there we have it. Hub upgrade 6. So that completes the tutorial. We are now a certified pioneer. So we got our little, well, what is it? It's kind of drop ship drone thing. Comes along. So that will take resources up to orbit once we complete each of the phases. And the next thing, the first thing you've got to do for the phase 1 is create the space elevator, which requires quite a lot of stuff. So we now have access to the biomass burner, so we can create different biomass burners, which will give us access to much better stuff. And so tier 1, you can see we've got various different things. So you can choose which you do first. So there's our map, the MAM, which is a research thing, object scanners, this is all about logistics, and then this is all the foundations that I was talking about that I want to get access to. So in order to get that, we need to get all these resources, and that is what we will do in the next stream. So I'm going to save the game at that point, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining.